Hey folks, it's Son of Peace and Lightbrain here. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs on EA Sports. The startup only happens to be the appearances right in the range, as game number 3 is the next stop. As we're starting the first game often first, it's bigger than rivals. This matchup may never be ending on anything. And this is where we are going to call for one last run between Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres for each hockey matchup. Game 3 only happens to be only one goal in the range to finish things all. Whatever nobody stands for, they don't give a credit without anybody help. And tonight's starting goaltender is Jeremy Swayman. And the other side, Buffalo Sabres brings Alex Lyon in the third game. But this is it. The winner of this team will be playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning in between the home or away if Buffalo Sabres win. Now this is the big question, if they're going to do it again or if they're definitely going to change it over for Buffalo Sabres to play against the Lightning. Let's see what that stands out for the third game of round 1. Standing in for my broadcast partner, I give a warm welcome, is one of our biggest, Terry Crews, along with Chris the Beast, and the third commentator of the crew is Peter Levesque. We really are seeing things from the center ice, and hopefully by the playoffs, it may not be anybody that can change things oftenly. We'll see you all folks later for the first intermission, all the way to the second intermission and to the post-game show. If necessary, we'll have an overtime show if anything changes. Now the third game is it. Will the Sabres win or Boston Bruins go back to the second round and heading to Tampa Bay for another big showdown in the Atlantic? This game starts now. Boston Bruins and Buffalo Sabres coming up next on EA Sports. Enjoy the game, folks. Sabertown is back again in Game 3. I'm Terry Crews, and I'm here on my broadcast partner with son of the Chris the Beast and Peter Levesque in the center box. Game 3, do or die between the two. And we are ready to get things settled in. It's Game 3 of Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's see who takes it all. Tonight's starting goaltenders for the Buffalo Sabres is Alex Lyon, and for the Boston Bruins, we have is Jeremy Swayman for the Bruins from the captain of David Pastrnak. So we start from here as Rasmus Dahlin will now find a Samuelson. He looks over to Alexander Tuch. Thompson will start in from the wing, and then will give a rebound in. Right from the big rig of the zone, he now finds it over to the Thompson. Here's Samuelson and shoots one, and it's stopping block saving up by McAvoy. Morgan Kiki again, now finding it again to Pastrnak. This one knocks him down. Kiki with the rebound, and this one will give over for Boston Bruins for McAvoy, and a swing over to Asperon. Rasmus Dahlin with the rebounding right around the net. He looks over to Samuelson. Samuelson gives it over back again to Rasmus Dahlin. He'll give a swing off to Alexander Tuch. Alex Tuch to look over to Tage Thompson. Starting off for the Buffalo Sabres. He'll swing again to Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin looks to Zucker on a shot. That one is off of Samuelson. And a big showstopper. Ties in play by Jeremy Swayman with only 17:24 remaining. I mean, I was looking at it for Jeremy Swayman. That is a one big stop down. This one was a big pickoff, and they really have that diving in play. There's no answer to that. And I know that first goal was really starting to get that denying effort. Buffalo Sabres may be the only their favorite, but for the Boston Bruins, they've been in a couple of postseasons since season number 3. And the only thing happened with season number 2, that really is giving some A lot of energies to give here, and they really have taken it all, what they definitely did. There's nowhere answers, and they really did all of them to try to do many help. That's definitely what the Buffalo Sabres really are trying to get things off to, but a sudden lurch might be the problem of it that they're really going to have to try to keep it out on. Glove saved by Lyon. We'll stop the play with only 16:07 remaining in the first period. As for Luukkonen, he already played this first part of the game. Alex Lyon, he had finished off in this last part of the game and made this great win against the Boston Bruins here at Boston at the TD Garden Arena. He really made it all to a finish line successful. But for the third game, what will this night be without it? There's one time to tell. Yeah, I need to know about this because Alex Lyon really had started to get that first part of the goal, and I think we need to find answers in there to get that one shots right toward the net. This is really what needs to be a problem with that, but only racing is the better effort to time it oftenly. No one's really trying to give it off to it, but one thing is for sure is for the Buffalo Sabres really need to get that one with the first goal of the race, Alex Lyon needs to start getting that one, pressuring it up. This is definitely what they really need to try to do to keep him out of the way. This is one making the mayhem between for the Buffalo or Boston. Josh Norris with the puck as Buffalo Sabres back in the offense zone. He looks to Zach Benson. Zach Benson to clear it over to Zashen. And Luke Shen finding Samuelson. He'll shoot one ahead and a save by Swayman. Going here 12-14 minutes in the first period. A lot of big energy from the crowd here, and let's start off. I didn't really think it was going to be easy. No score in the game between Buffalo or Boston. The win by the Bruins is now, this will be LeRae from Hampus Lindholm. That one pokes it. Sam Carrick now finding it to Samuelson. Morgan Geekie over to Lindholm, shoots, scores! There's the first goal for Boston. Elias Lindholm by Morgan Geekie. This one's really going to change it over to the worst. And watch what happened with that. Mateus Samuelson, he goes right toward the boards, and that's not helping. That really gives it with the Boston Bruins to turn it over the other way. And watch what Lindholm makes. That beats up by Lyon, and that really gives that with the first goal. They change it off. Nobody's really watching on this. And what Boston Bruins have done that, it's Mateus Ekholm, Mateus Samuelson. He really needs to start looking for something else. Elias Lindholm has got that first part of the goal, and that's number 2 in the playoffs. He really has to do for his second part of the goal to keep things from going out of trouble. So the first part of the goal happens to be with the playoffs for Elias Lindholm, and they've got their teams on the start for Boston Bruins. Therefore, Melenstein now finds Rasmus Dahlin. He looks over to Melenstein and gives back to Dahlin. Dahlin looks to Greenway. Greenway looks to Carrick. Carrick the pass to Melenstein. Here's one chance. Carrick shoots. Glove save by Swayman. Hampus Lindholm looks to LeRae, and now here's another change-off for Morgan Geekie. On the odd-man rush, tipped in front, off of Alex Lyon, and it's rebounded by Melenstein. That really is almost going to be in trouble afterwards. Boston Bruins are really starting to get that change-off on attack. They just need to watch where they're going. If they don't do it right, that means the Boston Bruins can keep on smacking. Ashedox looks to LeRae, and a great blocking shot made by Tage Thompson. He looks over to Rasmus Dahlin to Tage Thompson. Thompson in front, he scores! What a dish off from Rasmus Dahlin, we're tied. I love the synergy afterwards, and one thing what happens with Rasmus Dahlin, he gives over to Tage Thompson and misses the cutoff to give that one with a swing. When after that pass gives it over, watch what Tage Thompson makes. That one was a big sling off, and you just had that shooting percentage. That one beats off by Jeremy Swayman quickly, and that tied it up here very fast. Rasmus Dahlin got a great assist here, and that one was Tage Thompson. That's his first goal in the playoffs. Tage Thompson really done it all. But one thing is for sure is for Rasmus Dahlin, he's got the first assist of the night. And now this one will send off to Victor Arvidsson after a winning draw for Boston. Here's Power, a send over to Tuck. Tuck looks over finding to Thompson. Thompson trying to wave things off. Now finds Alex Tuck. Again by Ram. He looks to Power. Power shoots. Block up with a shot. And it's back to rebound by Thompson. Thompson finds by Ram. He looks over to Owen Power. Power looks to Tuck. Tuck looks to by Ram. Ram gloves it and a save by Swayman. 10-17 remaining in the first period. And they're ready to take another puck drop in control. All right, let's head over to Peter Levesque and see what takes in for Rasmus Dahlin. All right, thank you very much, Sir Terry. And what we notice about Rasmus Dahlin, he really is some big on powering and unmistakable. His sharp edges is pretty clearly enough for Rasmus Dahlin. He makes that one solid in. This competition was really going for some heavy playoffs, and most likely the change-up really is going to make it look great. When Rasmus Dahlin has that one covered in, he could definitely keep things from assisting the power in the range and have that great goal for once. This counts for the first part of each goal, and as Rasmus Dahlin, we'll see how he can take things off with the first part of his own play action in the playoffs. Let's see how he handles it there. And now this goes over to again as the first penalty kill. It happens to be on the Buffalo Sabres. We've got Middlestad, and he's got some quick drawing face-offs to give over to it. And what we need to see is that taping on the tape play, and Casey Middlestad only does this to get that quick drawing face-off wins. He really has to keep that out. There's a lot of big change afterwards. Another slowdown on the race. No big changing after to do for, and we're really seeing this to believe it. This is why I really need to see what happens with Casey Middlestad, if he has so much room to get some plenty of real timing afterwards. And hopefully by Middlestad, he'll keep things in for the heavy knockdown runs to get the team action. He scores! Casey Middlestad! No power play needed for the second chance. And it's Casey Middlestad. He scores on a power play. Well, that's another big option. As Casey Middlestad, he really does this often. This is really what they were getting. And that pass was right to Casey Middlestad. Watch where he's looking opening. And that Lion, he just did not have the pad go up from the foot. That pass off to Middlestad was a tape-to-tape zone. And that one just passes off by. And watch what happens here. This one goes right back to Casey Middlestad. That first goal of it is going to kick it off to have the lead. Despite the crowd, it's 2-1. As Boston with another chance on a power play, they really need to get off to a hurry. Bauer will stop things down. And as McLeod, he will clear that out. McAvoy to swing over to Geekie. Geekie. With the chance in motion, Lindholm shoots, stopped by Lyon. Power with the rebound, he'll have it over. And broken again by Lindholm. In front, he scores! Oh my goodness! 2 power play goals in 1 second. First period is right up in time. Well, this is another big bad mistakes for Buffalo Sabres. And watch what Geekie makes. That really was right in toward the net. That one was a fling off, and this pickoff friction is going to give Morgan Geekie a fair credit. That one doesn't give a good start off to make that save. Boston Bruins keep swimming and missing. That doesn't make that one slow things down. That really is another big goal. The shutdown happens after a midway mark in the period. Morgan Geekie with the first goal in the game.
His first goal
Thompson trying to clear that out.
Score on the power play, number 11.
And as Asperod gets a knockdown, McAvoy. David Pastrnak off to Geekie.
On a power play goal in the first period.
Knocked him over. Big smackdown as Lyon will try to give over to Byron.
2 seconds in the playoffs.
Leno knocked him right toward the wall. Man, that is another big smackdown in the range. I don't know what's happening on Buffalo Sabres. They're really trying to give it over to us. They just could not get enough power. Man, you really have to be like all feeling it up on the Sabertooth again if you really are going to take a swing and a miss. Howard shoots, saved by Swayman. McAvoy finds it over to Zaka. Broken up the chain. McAvoy's got it back. Here's Zaka to swing over again to Kagans. Krebs has got a rebound. You regroup for Buffalo. It's back to Byram.
Offensive line number 28, Elias Lindholm.
Josh Norris.
That's what we beat the
Can't get a fling out of it. Austin gives back to Zaka. Picked it and poked it. And a smackdown by Josh Doan. And he rolls it over to Krebs. Here's the Buffalo attack. On a swing and motion drive. Right toward the middle and stopped by Swayman. 5:50 remaining in the first period. Boston with the 3-1 from the Sabres. 3:54 over 54 seconds in the first period. They're starting to get a lot of clean notes here for Boston, but the Buffalo Sabres had a lot of dirty hits. Knocks it down. Here's Mitten. Mitten looks over again to Higgins, and he looks again to Kushyanov. Kushyanov shoots, saved by Lyon. 5:25 left to go in the first period. They're starting to get a lot of heaving, hectic motions to try to get it back. What we noticed about Luke Schenn, that one makes that one with the heavy kickdowns. He only does this to have that one relentless kick. That one knocks him down, and that's big play in motions for the defenders. That really has to give it all to keep that out of here. McLeod wins a draw as Logan Stanley has that behind the net. You look over to McLeod. Again to Zucker. Jason Zucker. Trying to speed it off. Trying to get away from some defenders for Boston. Here's Schenn. He shoots. Blocked the shot. Lindholm with the rebound. He now finds Kurali. Murray deeps his zone. Rebound by Jason Zucker. Zucker deeps his zone. Oh, McLeod might have it all. Stopped by Swayman. Wow, one-on-one was given away on a breakaway chain. Well, you only have to do it for one, and that's for McLeod. He would really have that great first on the goal. But Jeremy Swayman, on the other hand, he just took that one and ripped it away. Greenway finds Stanley. Here comes another big odd man rush. Change to Darlene. Big save by Swayman. Arvidsson looks off, and Swayman finding Lindholm. He get back to Victor Arvidsson again to Sam Lorray. Here's David Pastrnak. He looks to Pavel Zacha. Carrick looks over again to Greenway. Greenway. Nice motion entry, and a shot save played by Swayman. Samuelson, he shoots, deflected off again. Too soon to call for a rebound is McAvoy. Malingstein. Out around the net, he'll look over again to Norris. And Rasmus Dahlin, he'll try to swing things off. Takes a break, and a stop made by Swayman. Under 2 minutes in the first period, they'll have things full tight. Boston up by 2. Coming up, folks, we have is the first intermission between the Buffalo and Boston. It's big on no play motion cuts happen. With the early lead by Boston, it's 3-1. Well, let's see what Buffalo has to take things off. The first intermission is coming up after the first period. Doan looks over to Byram. He shoots deep, deflected it, and he cannot get through by the goaltender. Under 90 seconds in the first period, that only happens to be 3-1 for Boston. 95, it's just the right number to be over 92. And 82 percentage happen to be with Buffalo. As Minton wins a draw, here's Zadorov. Finds over to Higgins. Sticked it away by Power, and Power will have it over. Buffalo on the rush. Final man in the first period as Josh Stone just swing the Power. That one is off the glass. Big block on a shot again. They don't really have enough time to do this. They got to start thinking ahead. Otherwise, that was going to be leaving it up to dust. Power fires a save by Swayman. Only 31 seconds left in the first period. And they're still trying to look for that first goal in the game. To get back down by 1. Thompson wins the draw. He looks over to Power. Power, no cut here. Thompson rolls in and covered by Swayman. That one is knocked down by defenders. And Boston Bruins is finding enough to have that clear message in there to keep that out. Now to win for Boston. Here's Peak. Peak the big over by Alex Suck. Alex Suck can't get away with this. And his Power This one will clear his own, and we end the first period here. Boston with 2 points ahead. It's 3-1 in Buffalo. We'll see you folks later here for the second period after the intermission. You're watching a Stanley Cup Playoffs on EA Sports. Hey everybody, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL on EA Sports. 3-1 to score for Boston as they took over 2 points ahead from a power play goal with only 1:16 on the game. And there's nothing to say about this, about how that Boston was doing this, as I sent over to you, LifeRing. Let's see what you have. All right, well, thank you very much. I know it could have been stronger. I don't believe that they really started for Boston to play it that way. Even when I mentioned it before, that Boston Bruins was putting up so much powerness, brawlouts, breakouts. This is definitely what it's turning out to be. 95 over 88%. I mean, that's like higher over Buffalo. And it only happened to be with 2 power play goals, that only with 1:16 on a power play minute. They had 2 for 2. They were perfect so far. I mean, there's no other way that you could definitely try to keep things out here. And only just time, often, can definitely be a breakout to the Brutal. I know Buffalo Sabres fans are a little disappointed, but when you're playing it for the offense, you cannot let it go away with this. Now let's see what your reaction trackers are. Let's see what your takes is. All right, thank you so much. As I look at the action trackers, here's what happens with that. A lot of shots on the goals. That happens to be only with the Buffalo Sabres. They're really trying to do all of them as they can. And only Tage Thompson has that goal to have that one tricking it up on Swayman. Then it was Elias Lindholm. He just had that one goal to have taken it off with the power play goal. And another power play goal happened to be with only the other way, as 2 of each guys really stuck it out. And that was knocked down by plenty. You know, there is no way that you can definitely try to figure this thing out. As Tage Thompson, he is trying to get his second goal in the playoffs. And now for when both teams are collided, that really hurts to make that one as fair count. I won't believe that if Boston just plays it like that, I mean, they're just having a lot of loose in control to keep things out of the way. Now, what's the choice here for you about this there, Frank, to see what Boston Bruins has? And what is your status about it? Oh, man, I just really have to say that Boston Bruins, he just could have just got a lot of big responses afterward. I mean, who would never be feeling like that? I mean, I just really would say Boston Bruins could definitely just try to keep it going harder and harder and harder and harder. And then now they're really attacking. I know that they're really trying to make it up. They don't mess with the poking on the bear. I don't even know. This is not a believable skill afterwards there, Son of Peace. We've got a lot of problem afterward. They just didn't really think it was going to be a great way to have that one starting it off back. How about you for the Buffalo Sabres? Well, Buffalo Sabres really just have one goal on the range of it, and there's a lot of big knockdowns on the penalty kill. They don't start off to get that clean in. They really kept on messing it up, and they just couldn't get that back. That's definitely not a good thing. They really just can't get that away from it. Well, I know this is really how painful it is. I mean, you've got it all coming afterward. You really have to watch it to believe this and see what happens with the Buffalo Sabres if they can get that one back in to tie it up. All right, let's see what your scoring predictions is for you, LifeRing. Do you think the Buffalo Sabres will have a tie game, or will the Boston Bruins stick it with the 4-1 lead? I'm going to say it's going to be Boston Bruins that might stick it up with the same leadoff score. And as for Buffalo Sabres, I think 1 goal behind might have to be a close game. So I think it's 3-2. Mine will have to say it's going to be a tie game. I would like to see what Buffalo has to kick off with the next part of his period and get it on turn it out. All right. I know it's a LifeRing rule. That's big on down. Strategy doesn't mean it all. Let's go back to Buffalo at KeyBank Center. As I said over to Terry Crews, along with the other crews of the broadcasters with Chris the Beast and Peter Levesque, we start the second period right now. See you folks later, everyone, for the third period for the second intermission. After the second period, we'll see how that gets. Now back to Buffalo. Guys, all yours. If you're joining us here for the second period, we welcome you back at the KeyBank Center. We start the second period as both teams go back on ice. Let's see who has the next one to take. All right, send it over to you, Chris the Beast, about the first period recap. This was big on the power play afterwards as Boston Bruins, they have taken a 2-point lead over the Buffalo Sabres. How do you feel about that? Well, I know they were doing that, and as Jeremy Swayman had really have been kicking it off on the notch of it. And as for Morgan Geekie, he really just keep that one out of it. And I don't think that this is not going to happen with the Buffalo Sabres. They're really trying to do all of everything. And when I mentioned it before, but they're really starting to get that one, knocking in pressures, this definitely is going to cause it with some huge, painful knockdowns. This killer does not mean that this big rig does have the right choice between the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. This may happen. I mean, you really need to watch for yourself to keep it going. You got to make sure you're really up to the focus. This needs Buffalo Sabres to have that scoring drought on a chance effort. It may not be easy when they're going to get. Buffalo back in the offensive zone. He now finds Owen Power. Tries to wait for the one-timing to Byram. Saved by Swayman. One-timer again. Stopped by Swayman. Pasternak's outside of it, and now this Boston Bruins will give it over to Geekie. Here's Geekie again to Lindholm. And on fire is a save made by Alex Lyon. Gets rebound again by Owen Power. He'll clear that out. McAvoy flings it off to Lindholm. And it's Mitten. He's all alone. Breakaway chance. Stop made by Alex Lyon. Fans watching on this for Alex Lyon. They're really starting to get that one a lot of pair energy. No displaced in the crowd afterwards for Alex Lyon. That really was going to be almost chaoticable for Boston. They definitely are silencing the crowd. And watch what happens with this for Mitten. That one really is upped it high. And that big save really took it a handle. You could see that Mitten was really driving it up. And the only shot of a net really makes that one with the first goal. He would almost missed it. But that really was a great save to keep that knocking out from trouble. Norris wins a draw, and here's Shen. Shen now finds the Norris. Norris keeps rolling it up ahead. Off to Benson. Benson. And he lost his control, and this will go winding back into Buffalo territory. Now Shen gives to Stanley. Stanley can't get away with that, and a shot never saved by Lyon. Stanley looks over to Josh Stone with 15 minutes in the second period. Josh Norris. Oh, he just did not have the right choice. And he got it back. Norris looks to Samuelson. Here's a wheel shot. Saved by Swayman. One-time ticked it, and it just stops it to make the crowd after we're under 15 minutes. Lyon's really doing all of the hard work, but I think Jeremy Swayman, he really had it all. That big change of it may have to be only with the deal to have that one keeping it out. Darlene looks to Mellenstein. A shot blocked. Carrick back behind the back. Can't get a rebound in. That big rigger is going to definitely turn it over. Here comes Middlestad. Middlestad. Right towards zone. Save made by Lyon. And it's back to Rasmus Dahlin. Samuelson gives over to Greenway. Greenway. Over to Mellenstein. Mellenstein shot. Backhander. Stop made by Swayman. Mellenstein to find it to Byram. And Power. Power looks to Mellenstein. Again, Byram fires over the net. And rebounded by Jeanette. Back to her again with a save by Swayman. Given away by Sam Carrick. He'll find it over to Owen Power. Power trying to help out a little bit by the offenders. Give to Byram. Again to McLeod. McLeod swings it, and a save made by Swayman. Battle on the boards. McLeod around the net. Stopped her down. Big hit for Buffalo. And here's by Ram. McLeod fires a save made by Swayman. Sam Luray. Oh, it's given away by Quinn. Stopped by Swayman. Oh, he rushed it over. He would have had a chance to have that one back down by 1. Oh, he was really close. He could definitely almost have that scoring chance. I know this big try is not really the easy way to get it off, but that's a clean tight. Quinn shoots, stopped by Swayman. Zacked up too tight, and Koselic will lead the zone out of here. Here comes Koselic, and Luray will have it to Kushyanov. Kushyanov right toward on around the net. Kushyanov still trying to find for help. And with the shot. That gives away by Tage Thompson. Alex Tuck races. Save made by Swayman. This showstopper is definitely going to be a lucky fellow for tonight. I know he is. I mean, I know that Jeremy Swayman is really trying to kick it all what he can definitely do for. But I know that Buffalo Sabres are really trying to do the answers. There's no better job to do for that. That really would have to explain things to keep things from out of the way. No better job would do if they have that first goal, knocking it out. Alex Tuck with the rebound. Off to Tage Thompson. Thompson shoots, save by Swayman. 9:14 remaining in the second period. They wanted to look for a 1-point possession game between Boston or Buffalo. The draw wins, and it's now Elias Lindholm. You will now find again to McAvoy. McAvoy to swing over. Alex Tuck on the wheels. Asperod. Oh, Alex Tuck would have that one showing up behind the back. David Pastrnak's given off by Benson. Shed. 8:30 remaining in the second period. David Pastrnak's trying to stop on him. Beaky gives it over to Jonathan Asperod. And here's Lindholm the other way for Boston. Buffalo Sabres as Norris is going back into Boston territory. Here's another one to Josh Jones. Jones shot and a save made by Jeremy Swayman. No better gain of the energy. 22/8 is Buffalo. Norris wins the draw. Samuelson shoots. And easy save by Swayman. That's not enough to get the energy from here. And that's what Buffalo Sabres, they need to start doing some change-offs in. I don't know if this is going to keep on happening, but that really is a big knockoff to turn it over the other way. You can't just tell what happens. But one thing is for sure, you just gotta need to pay attention. Otherwise, you're gonna get wept out again. Man rush again. Pass off. Stop made by Swayman. Here's Greenway. He shoots up, block the shot. Norris again outside by Samuelson. Delaney shoots, saved by Swayman. His energy is running very low. And a save made. Greenway trying to get a rebound in. Delaney shot's blocked and it goes up and high over the net out of play. This is a crazy matchup. 9:04 over 2:02. And this time on attack needs to help things from Swayman back to his game. The winning draw happens to be whipped back by David Pastrnak. Oh, and Pastrnak is getting it over it. Lindholm, shots blocked. Samuelson, off the zone to Malenstein. Here's Malenstein. Stop made by Swayman. Gobbles it up with 5:31 to go. Well, Buffalo Sabres, he couldn't have done a lot with that. Watch what Jeremy Swayman makes. This one was a knockoff to give that one a diving effort. I don't think that wasn't easy enough. And I don't really know how that Jeremy Swayman was doing that quicker. But he is really giving that a diving back and just trying to kick that out. That's big on the tanks in there, man. You would not believe it. The win for Elias Lindholm. Here's McAvoy to swing to Lindholm. And now here's the other way for the wheels of McLeod. Stopped by Swayman. Quinn with the rebound. He lets it over again to Byram. And he raised the goalposts. They're going to do it again. Stopped by Swayman. Under 5 minutes in the second period, Lindholm trying to get it off. Here's Lindholm. Stuck in trouble. Blocked up by the defenders. Geeky with the rebound. They're trying to work things off. David Pastrnak's trying to have a rebound by McAvoy. Quinn kicks over. Byram's got it back. He's over to McLeod. Another big hit for Boston. McLeod. Stop on a blocker made by Jeremy Swayman. Here's a Stanley. Denied it all. He got away with it. Castelli. Shoot, save made by Alex Lyon. He'll kick things over, not finding Duchesne. 3:15 remaining in the second period. And as Shen pulls a pause. Outside is Tuck. Tuck rolls over to Shen. Stanley shoots. High on the blocker. Save out by Swayman. Stanley looks to Krebs. Krebs want to get one. McAvoy got it back. Alex Tuck stopping him down. And he gets knocked it over. Logan Stanley trying to get it out. Now Morgan Geeky. Here's Lindholm. The swing over, the pass is broken it up. Block a shot, and this one goes to the netting out of play. If you see what Owen Power makes, not only explains that this swim is a big off to take that attacker, he only does once. And this rings off the goalpost, and that wasn't pretty easy enough. But they're really starting to get that first goal in for Owen Power to get that one back down by 1. And that one really just keep it out. That was a big close one. We're nearing to the second intermission as we got the second period intermission coming up as LifeRank and Son of Beast will be sending it by for the game. There is still no change to be here and they're trying to look for one for the Buffalo Sabres. Let's see what they choose for and the second intermission is underway after this. Back and he scores! I don't see what's going on. Josh Jones is going to get a credit. Well, I meant to just say Josh Jones. He really would have that backhander and after Samuelson. Now it's down by 1. Check out this hustle from Josh Jones and watch what the spin-off makes. And it just right goes with the backhander. That one really passed it off by. That one was pretty close what Josh Jones makes. And right between the legs and both the defenders. That doesn't get Bryant to a stop. That goes swinging by, and that really changed off with the pass. That is a great shot of a net for Josh Jones. As we're nearing the final minute in the second period, they'll have a little hustle on down, and they will close things out for the second period with 1 point possession game between Boston and Buffalo. Samuelson after a save by Lyon. He looks to Doan. Josh Jones, back to Hampus Lindholm. He'll swing it again to LeRae and looks over to Mitten. Mitten knocked him down. Rasmus Stanley with the answer. And Zach Benson. Pass now to Josh Jones. Josh Jones, 30 seconds remaining in the second period. He looks off to Mitten. And Higgins will give it over to Jeanette. Sticked it by Rasmus Stanley. And we'll give a little pause here for Samuelson. He'll get back to Quinn, and he'll clear that out. That ends the second period, and it is a close game between Boston and Buffalo. It's 3-2. Be back after this break. And Josh Jones goal, it was no problem at all. We'll see if it's a tie or it will be a 4-2 game. Right after this. Hey guys, welcome to the second intermission of the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs on EA Sports. I'm Son of Beast and I'm LifeRank. Wow, I mean, there wouldn't be any play of that if they would definitely have to keep it hunting. They've got to find a win. That is totally right. Now, as a little status here, after the second period has come to the end, here's the statistics of how that changed. What do you see afterwards, Sir LifeRank? Oh, they really are trying to do things often. Only Buffalo Sabres only did so many shots in this net. And I know it won't be the day of this. You cannot let it, you cannot get away with that. that really will have to say things for Boston Bruins. They've just done everything. 28 hits for Buffalo, and this passing effectiveness only got 93 over 86. This Boston Bruins is going to have to fix things all better and better. And the face-off wins happen only to be with 19 over 7. Boston Bruins really did it all with just the power play with only 116 in the first period. But nothing was changed after then. I think this needs to be some change and regroup for Buffalo. Let's see if they find some answers. And as we take a look at the action trackers over here, only some shots on the net, and one goal was right toward the middle. That was Josh Doan that just did that with the first, another one. Was there another great takes to the goal that only doesn't change the golf to give that one knocked down for an opinion. No better place would ever do for Josh Doan to have that first goal. Let's see what your status is, and how do you see about Buffalo getting back down by 1? Well, they're getting better and better. I mean, hold it steady, take a deep breath, and fix it all what you got. I think this needs to try to give some hard, patiently, not much answers. I think we need to see this, to change it back, and do it all over again from the top. I think we'll need to see Buffalo Sabres to get that first goal in. How about Boston Bruins there, Bust on a Beast? Well, I know that Elias Lindholm was really doing things, and that one was a big knockdown. I really was sure enough that the Boston Bruins had took so many fighting conditions to keep that out. Only one thing will change if the Boston Bruins scores that net. They're going to definitely take things over and pull it on the punch. I think, man down, man down. You know what we're talking about there, right? Yeah, I know. We really got to watch things out here carefully. Yep, indeed, too. And now, let's see what your total statistics and who do you think is going to win the game. My take is going to be Buffalo. Let's see what the Sabre Town does. And you? Well, I believe that's going to be a close call. 4-3, Boston, because that might be the closest game, and I think we might see them rematch again against the Lightning. Let's see how they were changing up. I know it won't be anybody, but we have to see it if this goal can be a tie game or not. Let's go back down to Terry Crews as we send off the second intermission to an end, and we got the post-game show coming up. That'll be underway after the game. Let's see what changes. Guys, all yours. Back to Buffalo, New York. Final period coming down to the end. And the third period is where we may see some answers. Here we are, fellas. The third period is definitely right around the corner. Let's see who takes it all. All right, Krista Priests, it's all yours. What do you see with the second period of that game? Well, I really love the energy. This is the hype up from the crowd again. I know the head coaches are really watching on this, but I want to see what the Buffalo Sabres can do. You're going to try to figure that out. Got to try to find a way to get that shot on the net. This is another strategy to the goal, and what the line doesn't really matter. They just need some answers. No bigger chance would do for if Buffalo Sabres can tie that game up. Let's see how they respond in the third.
At the time, 18 minutes, 24 seconds.
Tage Thompson knocks away by David Pastrnak. He goes on a rush, and back to Tage Thompson again for the Buffalo Sabres. He will swing to Quinn, and this will be an offside for Buffalo Sabres. And you know, Charlie McAvoy was able to have that one knocking him down. And as for Alex Tuck, that one gets a swing, and that one just knocks him over. With the empty, clean spill, that won't be the love day to keep that out from trouble. McLeod wins the draw. He looks to Power. And off to Quinn. Quinn looks at Byram. Oh, Byram. What a big hefty motion. And a nice cut motion. He looks to Zucker. Wow, a save and play by Jeremy Swayman. And back to Power again to Zucker. Zucker shot's blocked. Rebound by McLeod. McLeod looks to Byram and Powers with another shot. Another save by Jeremy Swayman. Morgan Geekie giving it over to Asperod. Asperod back to McLeod. Rebound by Pasternak. Pasternak shot blocked up for the shot, and he scores. Elias Lindholm. He has done it again. That's 2 in a row in the game. David Pasternak has really given that pass off. This strategy happens with Jeremy Swayman, and now watch what David Pasternak make. That block shot, and watch this rebound here. He comes right afterwards, and he says, gimme for 3. And that's 2 goals that he passes by Alex Lyon. That is another rebound. That haptical save. They're really starting to go over it with the blank and get that to a great start. McLeod wins the draw. He looks to buy Ram and back over to Quinn. Here goes Quinn. Quinn in front. McLeod with the rebound. Back outside his power, and now back on ice is Zach Benson. Benson, backhander. He gets caught up by the defenders. Middle stab. Oh, nice cut on the motion. Took a little big spill here, and now here's Zaka. Zaka trying to stop him down. And rebound by Power. Benson, the swing to Josh Norris. Norris gives that wheels. New change-up, and save made by Jeremy Swayman. Kicks it off to Josh Norris. He looks to Shen. Shen to Stanley. It's back to Zach Benson. He'll try to give to Shen. And Arvidsson will have that one cleared out. On the attempt, knocked on the wall. He goes with a big hit. Pavel Zacha, stopped by Lyon. Shen keeps it over to Malingstein. Oh boy, no penalty on the Boston Bruins. They're still keeping it clean. Yeah, I don't know what's going on now. I mean, they're really trying to do everything, but no matter what happens, they're really kept on going. And the Buffalo Sabres really need to have some answers on the thought of it, as Logan Stanley's trying to do for everything. They can't get that fixed off cleanly. Carrick looks to Shen. Here's Carrick, shots blocked by Jeanette. Stanley looks to Alex Tuck. Back to Stanley. Shen up high off the glass. And rebound by Hampus Lindholm. He looks to Morgan Geekie. Geekie with the change. And Krebs takes it over. Shen waits. Over to Thompson. Broken the pass by Hampus Lindholm. Samuelson will go right around the net. And it's back over again. The big rig starting to get a lot of peptic motions. And Kaselik trying to stop one. Pat save by Lyon. He looks to Tuck. And now here's Thompson. Number new line group change. Here's how that takes Thompson. Backhander. Does not have a choice. He just goes right back to Rasmus Dahlin again. Well, I know he's too close, and that really is talking hitting it off. And he cannot get that one shot clean in the effort. Back to Thompson. Behind the net, it's Rasmus Dahlin. He looks over to Tuck. Tuck may be out of his breath here. Slings a feed. Stopped by Swayman. And McLeod with the rebound. 11 minutes remaining. Zucker shoots. Tuck shot. Stopped by Swayman. Swayman just a perfectionary on a showstopper. Now, Matthias Samuelsson, he's trying to have that shot, and the open net, he just didn't get right through it. And that just accidentally just hit the pin shot, and that pad is definitely hurting him. He's definitely just had to get off the bench. A lot of energy from the crowd here. They're starting to look for a down by 1 in the game. Buffalo trailing by 2. McLeod wins it. Zucker shoots. Almost in. And that stays out by Jack Quinn. Samuelson shoots. And saved by Jeremy Swayman. Now he'll get another pickoff clean for the face-off attack in the center box. Well, that really happens to be Elias Lindholm. And only one thing changes oftenly is that every goal shift matters. And only thing really changes it. And that one really passed it off too soon. Now, as for Lindholm, they really took it off to Geekie. That great assist was really going to have to change it often to give some quick reactions. no better luck would do anything. Buffalo Sabres trying to have that answers responses. And it's still down by 2, 4-2 game, Boston. Win by McLeod. Here's Stanley, shoot, save by Swayman. McLeod again. Samuelson looks to McLeod. And he scores! Ryan McLeod. They're down by 1 again. They really need to do it for it. Ryan McLeod has really had something it off. And it's not over yet. You need to make a lot of goals. You got to make sure you have a lot of bangers in there. Now, as you for Ryan McLeod and as Mathias Samuelson, he goes right to McLeod and just take it over. And then get that shot in right toward the net. Now, Ryan McLeod is really good at damping this off. And then as for the players get right off and out of the way, that just beats over by his Jeremy Swayman. And that won't be the carry touch. If you have the right choice in there, that is open to the slot. That is a great shot of the net. All right, the goals don't stay the same as Ryan McLeod has another playoff goal, and we're nearing the midway mark in the third period. Well, I know the midway mark only happens to be Ryan McLeod, and now the only one changes needs to be a chance. If they need to win it, they've got to try to find some responses. This suck on the answer is not going to be right always the same, but they need to start getting that goals back. Oh, he went too close to the goaltender. And back over to Rasmus Stanley. Yeah, that's pretty much close in contact. On almost what had to be a goaltender interference. Samuelson finds a Quinn. Quinn shooting, scores! Jack Quinn, we're tied in Sabretown. 4. Now that is answers. Piece of cake. Now Jack Quinn just really picks it up, and there is no choice you can answer that one back. And Jack Quinn really had taken it over. That one was a big change off, and that one just really big pass by Jeremy Swayman. Now you just really have no other choice but just go for the goal. Jack Quinn dug it in. Sabres and Boston are tied in 4. As we already passed the midway mark in the third period. Jonathan Asperod wins the draw. And here's Rasmus Stanley. You'll swing that out over again to Zucker.
Scored by number 71, Ryan
Zucker goes in deep. He now finds Jack Quinn. Now they're back in the Boston territory. They're ready for attack in numbers. Rasmus Stanley goes right over to Josh Norris. Back to Rasmus Stanley. He swings to Benson. That one carries off the stick by Casey Middlestad. Charlie McAvoy. The other way past Arvidsson. Followed up by Lyon. And he takes a cover with under 8 minutes in the third period. Ryan McLeod only does this for a living. And whenever he shots in the goal only matters. That one just flings it, and that deflects it. He could try doing some big changes oftenly, and then that squeezing screen may have happening to do the work. But then only Ryan McLeod does this, so that way he passes it, and he goes right back to McLeod and gives that shot into the net. Ryan McLeod behind Alex Tuck, and they both got 21s on the board. And that's Jason Zucker trying to get that one with the leadoff. If there is a possible chance for the Buffalo Sabres. Byram looks to Doan. Doan to Benson. Benson will need to get a little reset here. And back to Power. Power looks to Norris. Norris, Byram shoots, blocked by Lindholm, and over to Geeky. Geeky pass back to Pasternak, and back to Josh Doan. Doan looks over. Now this one gets knocked toward the boards. Given away by Zach Benson, and he'll clear that zone out. Icing is going to be on Buffalo Sabres with under 7 minutes in the third period. When Jeremy Swayman has a lot of contact in afterwards, there's a lot of big showstoppers when you really see things. And only one thing needed to change it off is Jeremy Swayman. He really took that first part of that goal. That's a lot of big change off on the showstoppers. Just like Andrei Vasilevsky, it wasn't like that. How that goes with for Jeremy Swayman to have that one keeping it out. Lots of time left to be played in this period. You can feel the energy from the crowd. It is already a tie game in Buffalo, New York. The win by Lindholm. Given away by Norris. Zach Benson will decide to think about it as Benson will now find Byram. Byram blocked the shot. Norris looks over to Benson. Benson shoots, save made by Swayman. David Pasternak's on a rush. And Byram's got it over now, finding it again to Power. Power looks over to Norris. Now he skates the other way for the Buffalo Sabres. Under 5:30 to go in the third period. Swing off to Shen. Shen shoots one in for deflection, almost made it in! Oh, look at Stanley, he just had a chance to have that lead. And he just did not have the right choice to get that one with a great goal option. You know, anything like that, Logan Thompson was really close and he could just definitely try to keep that off. But as Logan Stanley, he would have had that first goal in the playoffs to have that lead in the game. Logan Stanley now finds the Krebs. Final 5 minutes, presented by Discover. Now here's a no contest to Pasternak. Alex Tuck with the rebound. He looks over to Logan Stanley. Stanley goes right around the net. Hand to Lindholm. Gives over to Morgan Geekie. And that one has blocked it up. Mitten shoots. Pat saved by Lyon. Now Logan Stanley will have it over again to Alex Tuck. Buffalo with another strange in numbers. Here comes Boston. Kushyanov. Mitten chopped it up too soon. And it goes with another rebound for the Buffalo Sabres. Here's Mitten. Pass outside. And that deflects it off the skater and rebounded by Buffalo. 3:12 remaining in the third period. Remember that after this game, the winner of this one will be going to face against the Tampa Bay Lightning if the home or away game. Dahlin fires over the net. McLeod with the rebound in. He would almost have to do for anything. Rasmus Dahlin would have the right choice if he would definitely have it. And that one tips over the net, and that one will race it out of play as with only 2:23 remaining in the third. Let's go down to Peter Levesque with the player of the game. All right, thank you so much. And now, as I say before, Jeremy Swayman got a big showstopper for tonight, and he's making that one with the crucial on this finish. And the only thing we really need to do for now is to watch this timing often. This is carefully impacted, and I say Jeremy Swayman, he really has done with the finishing, and he won't do it all. If anything is going to show it off, that's definitely what they're going to get. If that first goal was a leadoff or to stop by Jeremy Swayman. This is really what everyone was calling it for, the big showstopper. Let's see what it takes for Swayman to keep that one from cross-checking and double cross the other way. Back to you, Terry. All right, thank you so much, Sir Peter Levesque. And what a player of the game knows, Jeremy Swayman. I know Jeremy Swayman is really doing it all that he can. And not when you don't think about it for a deal. It's don'ts or do. Norris shoots, save made by Swayman. Final minute in the third period. Samuelson shoots, save by Swayman. McAvoy now finds the mitten. Here's Benson. Norris. Final chance on the push for Power. And Samuelson will give it over to Power. Power. Doan. Fires from the corner. That does not get through it. And as that now stop made by Swayman with 39 seconds in the third. A lot of crowd wanting to see this game-winning goal for a comeback. It's still tied 4-4. Thompson wins the draw. Here's by Ram. Krebs. Back to Loray. Missed it off on a time option. And broken it up again for Boston. Alex Tuck. Outside a wing. Back to Lindholm. And it's back to Loray. Bruins changing it off. Last push for the Sabres. And he wants Thompson. Here he goes. Pass in front. Stop on a diving play by Jeremy Swayman with 5.7 to go. Oh, what a nice diving afterwards. Jeremy Swayman, he really couldn't get it all down to a one tiny bit. When McLeod blocked a shot, and therefore we are going to overtime in Buffalo, New York.
That's the
Both
regulation
teams,
period.
tight contest zones, but the
Buffalo and
fourth
Boston,
is just a
4
score.
in Game 3
We'll
of
see
the
what the
playoffs.
leadoff changes for overtime next after the overtime show. Wow, what a game! It's tied up for 4, but let's see what shows us off with the first of the third period of the regulation period. For those of you who have missed it, here's how they did. Okay, let's go over to you there, Centerpiece. Your turn. All right, thank you so much. And as for the third period, really as stands things out, all the teams that have tied things up for 4. The next team that wins will be it, and this will be game over between Buffalo or Boston. This is definitely the closest choice that we really are watching things on. So let's have your takes here, and what do you think is going to be the winner for tonight's game of Buffalo or Boston? Oh, this is a hard question. I mean, great idea. I'm going to say it's Tage Thompson. And I don't know about David Pastrnak. He really would have to watch things all. If this is the enemy, we've got to watch and find things out if there is a knockdown to the choice. I think that this will be a great matchup to finish things all. Let's go over to you, Centerpiece. Who do you think is going to win? Boston. My only thing happens to be with Boston and the Tampa Bay for the rematch in the Atlantic Division. That only has to explain one thing. As for the third period, Boston and Buffalo are tied it for McLeod and Samuelson. And as Jack Quinn, he really took that good goal on the chance. Only 10:45. I don't know what's going to be. So I think we will have to watch that and see who wins this overtime. And I believe, I'm going to say it's going to be Buffalo with a win. On Boston for me. That's definitely going to be a 50-50 chance. So, I don't know what will it be, but I think the next commentator might see what the overtime game will look like. Are you ready? Yes, I am. Here we go. Overtime starts now. And this game of overtime for the NHL 26 is presented by your local Honda dealers. Let's get on to the show as we start overtime. And it starts right now. Are you ready? It's that time. It's overtime starts now. What a big matchup. And this is going to be coming down to the end between Boston or Buffalo. This is overtime and is presented by your local Honda dealers. As no penalty will start off for Boston, here's McAvoy to find it over to Geek. This knocks down there pretty quickly and finding Krebs again over to Thompson. Big save by Swayman. He'll send things over to Morgan Geeky. He'll have that swinging shot stopped by Lyon. Only 18:54 remaining in overtime. Only Elias Slidholm, you just really need to see this. One thing you really don't have to patient about is a big hit, and both guys were broke down already because they're definitely are trying to make that one hit on emotion. They really couldn't get it all with the favorite down. McLeod's got it back, and here's another one to Quinn. Quinn with the change. Back the other way. Quinn in trouble. Trying to have a lot of big answers by David Pastrnak. He looks over to Hampus Lindholm. Elias Lindholm. Right toward his zone. He now finds Asperon. Asperon should save me by Alex Lyon. Lyon stops it with only 18:01 remaining in overtime. Still nothing to believe here. Casey Middlestat might win things all. So I think that Buffalo Sabres could be a goodbye for now. Asperon. McAvoy shoots. Block the shot. Byram will clear things out. Now here comes the Buffalo Sabres. He'll fling it around the net to Quinn. He looks to Power. Power looks to McLeod. McLeod looks to Power. And finding again to McLeod. If McLeod now finding the Power. Power has it to McLeod. And Quinn. Giving over the other way. Trying to find Byram. And a save by Swayman. Asperod will have a change off to Zacha. And he looks to McAvoy. Again to Arvidsson. Arvidsson in trouble. Finding Middlestat on a shot. Blocked it up on a skater. And McLeod has it over to Doan. That's a good stop afterwards. I mean, that Buffalo Sabres need to start getting it off. Whenever you miss it off, you can't let it off to get away. By Ram. The swing to Doan. And Doan looks to Shen. Shen shoots. He raised the goalpost. Josh Norris. Outside is Logan Stanley. Stanley might do it all if he wants to win this goal in overtime. Stanley. Pass to Doan. Broken by Asperon. And another big change out by Shen. Buffalo's back on the attack. And here's off to Benson. Benson. He got knocked down pretty hard. He's back up. Logan Stanley. Howard to Tuck. Shen. The Tuck. Tuck changes. Logan Stanley. He shoots one. Deflected. Doesn't get right through it. Boston Bruins changing it up a bit. Mitten shoots. Save by Lyon. Knocked him right toward the wall. Logan Stanley. What a great cut motion to stop on Asperon. I know this is really what they're choosing it for. Logan Stanley is really trying to get it all when he can. This big attack is definitely going to give it all to another big credit. You would not believe how that would happen, but only time is going to definitely consume it to keep things from going out of the way. Let's hope that definitely we'll have to do a new change up on the line group and always get back into work. Don't make any aggressions if you're going to try to keep up. Alex Tuck finding Samuelson. He looks over to Rasmus Dahlin. Rasmus Dahlin now finding Thompson. Thompson. Backhand a shot. Save made by Swayman. 12:39 to go in overtime. 4-4. The next goal could be the winner. 91/86. They're losing a lot of passing effectiveness here. And Thompson just needed to get a face-off win to have that goal. He misses that one, and that will be Elias Lindholm with the winning face-off. Elias Lindholm back to Thompson. Krabs. That one knocks down. Rebound by Pastrnak. He looks to Geek. Geeky. On the wall. Rebounded by Dahlin. Here's David Pastrnak for the win. Stop made by Lyon. And we're still going into overtime. They really had it all. There'd no be better than one. For the win. Stop made by Swayman. He shuts it down pretty quickly. Iran shots blocked. Elias Lindholm goes back the other way to Morgan Geeky. And Krebs will have that one changed over to Byram. Byram. To Tuck. Glove save by Swayman. Lindholm will send it off to Arvidsson. And here's the Pastrnak. That one pokes it up. Here's Greenway. Greenway looks up to Byram. He takes a shot. And over and high over the net. And back to Byram. That's another big save by the goaltender. 10 minutes left in OT. Here's David Pastrnak. He will have it in the middle side and a diving. What a nice dive block. Back to Buffalo's Owen Power. Well, that won't have to matter because that really blocks up with the shot of a goal, and this would almost be a kill out. Nobody could definitely able to do that one better. Jack Quinn to power. Here's Stanley, shoot, save made by Swayman. And as you can see, that is a shot block, and I don't think that wasn't a clear path to give that shot on opportunity net. Pasternak shot stopped by Lyon. 8:45 remaining in OT. Couple games are coming into action. We got the next game that's running a little bit behind, and that will be the next part of the game as we have another matchup for the Eastern Conference, and as will be later tonight, the Flyers and the Penguins at Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia. And part of the last game, we've got the Golden Knights, and they face off against the Utah Mammoths for the one last game. Here's Quinn, back to Stanley. Stanley shoots, redirected, and he scores! He wins it all! Buffalo are striking, and they're going to the next round. Sabre Town, it's now your turn as we win the celebration.
Buffalo Sabres go!
While I beat Jason Zucker, his first ever playoff goal that beats and passed by Jeremy Swayman. Look how he's looking it off. That one was right to Jason Zucker and right toward the net. That was tricky. Well, no better than that as Jason Zucker, he really gets that off. Just look what happens. That tips it off, and I can't believe it. Jason Zucker was getting into the net. Now the Sabres, it's now your turn to be in the second round. Well, what a wild game and what a finishing to the end. As for the celebration goes on, Buffalo Sabres will be playing home to face against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round. What a game this is. I mean, I know this is not the better hard feeling, but whatever you do for Jason Zucker, finishes it all. Well, hello, my broadcasting partner, along with Peter Levesque and Krista Beast, I'm Terry Crews saying good night and so long in Buffalo, New York. Take care, everybody. All right, thank you so much. Time for Jack Quinn as he steps in for the third star player of the game. He has 1 goal, 1 assist, and 5 hits, and he makes that one deflect it, and it's right toward the deep zone. Tonight's second star player of the game goes to Mattias Samuelsson, who only had 4 assists in the game, and he did it all with the crazy pickoff look. Just 1 knockdown, and it only turned out to be nice, and that only changed it off. And tonight's first star player goes to Elias Lindholm with only 2 goals, 1 assist, and 5 hits. He really doesn't think that was going to be the easy choice, but that's shucking it down. And tonight, here are the total statistics. 70 over 30 total shots on goal for Buffalo, 41 over 36 hits for Buffalo, 1952 over 426 for Buffalo, and it's 91 over 86 Boston on attack. 30 over 15 faceoff points for Boston, and only 4-minute penalty kill was on Buffalo, and 2 power play goals with 1:16 remaining. So that about wraps things up here, and what a game for Buffalo. They just found their answers, and Game 3 was a big overtime winner. That's a huge success. Well, as for now, they will be playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that will be next time for round number 2 to have some best on the best. You would not believe what happened, but I think we'll see them back as soon as the first round is over. Well, that's all being said, thanks for watching, and see you folks later tonight for the Pens and Philadelphia. That next game is going to be underway shortly when we take a break, or a long break, as the game will start at 7:30 p.m. only on Son of Beast. For those of you who are not turning us in, thanks for watching. And so long for as a while as the NHL 26 on EA Sports Style. So long and good night. Bye-bye, everyone.
If you don't, somebody will.